Let's go. Come on, come on. Hey. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah. It's time to make a difference. It's time to turn that page. We got to do the right things if we want brighter days. Cause things ain't getting easy and the road ahead is tough. It's up to you and I to make the madness stop. Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax. For the sake of our twin nation and the youths of the next generation, let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we're the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we're the ones who care.
Send them a message now.
Oh, 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 yeah, yeah.
Everybody now. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah.
From a distance, look at the picture. Tell me what you see.
What you see?
An abstract of destruction to destroy you and me. We got to do the right thing. We got to make that move. Cause if we don't act fast on this, we're the ones who lose.
Every day the things getting harder, and every day the things getting rough, and every day they hike the food prices and they implementing more tax. For the sake of our twin nation and the youths of the next generation, let's stand united, show we're not divided. Let's show them now and send them a message now.
Show them that we are the voice of hope.
Send them a message now.
Show them that our country ain't no joke.
Send them a message now.
Show them that we are the ones who care.
Send them a message now.
Oh, 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 yeah, yeah.
Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, oh, no more red, no more rain, no more red, no more rain. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not watching for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching a dollar, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not watching for you. We tired of the bloodshed, tired of the taxes, tired of the potholes and all the excuses. Tired of no water, tired of stretching a dollar, tired of the high grocery bills. No left foot, right foot again. No more struggle, no more strain, no more pain. We want to see we way, we want a brighter day. No more Rowley again. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. Bye bye Rowley, bye bye. We're not watching for you. No more red, no more rain, no more red, no more rain, no more red, no more rain.
hands together and welcome the great white, John Michael Alibokas. Love, love, love.
Thank you, Chairman. I would just like to start by giving God the glory for having us here tonight for this pavement report. To the opposition leader, former Prime Minister, and our Prime Minister in waiting, the Honorable Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, Senior Council, MPs, Senators, Mayors, Aldermen, Councillors, members of the media, members of the armed forces, and specially invited guests. Good evening. As the prospective UNC candidate for San Fernando East for the 2025 general election, I would just like to tell the people of Trinidad and Tobago and San Fernando East that hope is here. I assure the constituents that I am here to serve you all, listen to the problems of the constituency and find viable solutions. Coming from a family background of serving my community within San Fernando and the entire country, nationally and internationally, our profound legacy of over 100 years in the business sector speaks for itself. The great Charlie's Black Pudding. I have grown with a father that had great respect and integrity, always helping people that are in need, a man of his word, a great doctor to many in our sweet TNT, Dr. Ali Bokas. But with great respect to him, that's my daddy, who always instilled in me to be the best that I can be. My mom, that always taught me to help the underprivileged and the people that are in need, teaching me what is unconditional love and to be for your brothers and sisters there, no matter what. Never turn your back. My angel, Gail Alibokas, I love you dearly. I am here to assure San Fernando East that there would be more love in our community. And I am here to bring that change that is in need to the constituents. A humble, approachable, and available individual that is here to serve you, my constituency, to a greater and better community. Focus on Alibokas. With love, we are going to do this together. One nation, one love, one people, one leader. With the help of my constituents, you will be able to make that dream come true and allow me to serve you to the best that I can. To the youths of Trinidad and Tobago, I hear your cries every day that I am on the ground with you all. I can hear you all. Willing to work, but there's no employment. Single mothers fighting to feed their children and being taken advantage of by the system. Senior citizens having problems to get their pension, which is not enough for them to survive. And the unions fighting for better wages for workers to be able to see about their families in this falling economy. But yet still, they must agree to 4%. San Fernando East, I am a youth of love. Give us the Gen Zs a chance to show you all what we can do. Bring new youthful ideas to the forefront, infrastructure and innovative methods to create transparency for you, the constituents, to be comfortable, educating you all through social media platforms and enlightening you, the constituents, in what is going on in our constituency. I stand here today as a Mughal in entertainment, a politician, an artist, a promoter, a son of San Fernando, growing up in the San Fernando East, living by my grandmother, the Alibokases, on 58 Ladybird Crescent, Pleasantville, since 1976, which makes It's 49 years that the Ali Bocases have resided in San Fernando East. Every morning getting up to go to school, attending Pleasantville Junior Sec, Pleasantville Senior Sec, and last but not least, Naparima College. I am here to let you all know that I am an example of success, fighting jealousy, envy, non-believers that wish to see me fall, thinking that I am not sophisticated enough to stand in this position, but yet I am here today. Breaking a record of 23 years with Marbella West being under the PNM in local government, and now the trophy is in our hands, the UNC, for the first time. I am here to let you know that it is the job of God to judge greatness and not man. Render thy hearts and not thy garments. God is real and change is coming. Have faith. Don't give up. Believe in yourself that we can do it. With hard work and persistence, just stay focused. And always remember, love conquers all. I would just like to thank the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC executives for giving me a chance to serve my country as the prospective candidate for San Fernando East in the upcoming 2025 general election. And I am most grateful for this opportunity of greatness, believing in me to be the next MP for San Fernando East. We must look to the east, San Fernando East, where the sun shall rise and good over evil shall prevail. As the councillor of Marbella West and the prospective candidate for San Fernando East, everyone knows my slogan: love, 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 love. And to the words of my great leader, serve the people, serve the people, serve the people. So with that being said, for the 2025 general election, I, the candidate for San Fernando East, John Michael Ali Bocas, a man of the ground, will be serving the people in love. I give full respect to the great men that have walked this earth in serving the people, that have stamped their pathway. But now the time has come for me to set my own legacy, to walk my own path, and to build my own dynasty of greatness. I would like to thank you all in advance for your unwavering support to me as your next member of Parliament for the constituency of San Fernando East. And last but not least, I would just like to remind you all, Trinidad and Tobago, when UNC wins, everybody wins. Good night. God bless. Vote UNC for 2025 general election. Thank you. Love, 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 love.
Let's hear it. Let us hear it for the next member of Parliament for San Fernando East, John Michael Ali Bocas. And I'll take a line from John. When UNC wins, everybody wins. Let's make some noise if we agree with that statement. When UNC wins, everybody wins. John spoke of the vision of UNC, the vision of our leader. And right here in this area, if you look just to the back of you, you will know that a university has been built by the United National Congress. Today, it is in Latro, it is in Bush, under the Visionless People's National Movement. So as we prepare to return to government under the leadership of Kamala Prasad Bisesa, projects like these will get life again, where our children can be educated. It is the United National Congress that had one of the most robust education programs for children. Think how comfortable it would have been for the people of South, San Fernando, La Brea, Santa Flora, to wake up and take their children to the university right here and come back in the afternoon and pick them up. Such a beauty, such a vision. The next speaker is certainly a daughter of the soil, member of Parliament for the constituency of Maruga Tableland. She has served effectively 2 terms as a local government councillor in the Hindustan electoral district, and she is a holder of a Bachelor of Science and a diploma with honors. She takes pride in having her own ambitions and aspirations to lift the people of Maruga Tableland. She is known as a servant of the people in Maruga Tableland. Since 2020, MP Benjamin has been shadowing the Ministry of Tourism and Culture, and she has done exceedingly well there in bringing ideas not only to Maruga Tableland, but that will shine throughout Trinidad and Tobago. So without further ado, I ask MP Michelle Benjamin to come to the podium, a daughter of the soil. Let us give her a hearty round of applause. Michelle.
Good night, Debe. You could do better than that. We in an election year. Rowley watching this meeting, we had to make him tremble. Good night. Good night to my honorable political leader. I want to get the pleasantries out of the way because good behavior, I was told, left the door. So I just want to get the pleasantries out. I want to say good night to my political leader, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bisesa, and the next Prime Minister. And when you hear that, you have to roar. To the councillors, the activists, the host MP, thank you for inviting us into your den. And to my constituency, Maruga Tableland. Debe, we're going to make some noise there. We're not going to sit down because as I said, we are in an election year. And you know when the UNC win, as the chairman rightfully said, everybody wins. And we have to ensure that the UNC wins this upcoming general election. My UNC family, we have, and I heard the other the chairwoman said, we have 2 prime ministers, a young one and an old one. But the old ran, the old bear goat thought he could have bought me yesterday in Parliament to hear the man. But we go deal with he just now. The man said, who are dead? Who dead? But in Trinidad and Tobago, we badly wounded. What has the PNM done for us for the last 9 years? In Trinidad and Tobago, every sector has fallen apart. Debe, am I lying? The chairman just told you that we could have had a brand new university. They did not open that. Look at the state of our schools. I could tell you, anytime you visit a school as a sitting MP, you're getting a list from a principal. MP, you could help me with this. MP, you could help me with that. You could ask the host of this meeting here tonight how much thing he had to repair just to have this meeting here. And that is what we are faced with. This government has wounded every sector. They have wounded every sector in our beautiful country. My UNC family, for the past 9 years, we have suffered. It has been a long and grueling road. But the journey, I want to tell you, it soon comes to an end. Just know, as Ali Boka said, the light at the end of the tunnel, we could see it. And that is the United National Congress. That is the lighting tower. And we Baptists sing a song. I see Miss Margaret, a newly anointed mother. She could tell you, I see the lighthouse shining in glory. That's what we Baptists sing. I see the lighthouse. Amen. So I want to tell you, you have to listen to this meeting. And you have to feel the energy because victory is ours. Soon the UNC will rise, but we will rise based on your strength and your support. So I didn't come here tonight and to tell you about the roads bad. Every living road in Maruga Tableland is bad. It's in a deplorable state. I could tell you that we were allocated, or they allocated, I should say, over $300 million to the roadways in Murga Tableland. And I could tell you that my constituents still have to go through potholes. I could tell you that we are still losing homes due to landslips. I could tell you that the roads are the same, but the contractors came and go. So they came, they went, but their pockets, they didn't take care of us. Tonight we are here to put our activists on election notice, as the political leader said. I am here standing on my activist back. I am here to ask you to come out in your numbers. You know when you hear that truck, all battery buying, iron, scrap iron? When you hear that on election morning, I want you to get out and run. It's time. If you know you want this PNM government to go, when you hear that, when election morning come and you hear a UNC car is outside and they're looking for you, you have to run like you're going and sell that scrap iron. Because that is what we want to do. Get rid of this scrap iron government. That is Rowley and Young, this scrap iron government. And as my deputy political leader will say, they all must go. It's not the young one or the old one. They all must go. We don't want no anointed prime minister. We will elect our prime minister, and that is no other than Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I am from Murga Tableland. I am deeply connected to the hopes and the struggles and the dreams of my constituents. I am Murga Tableland and proud. Could you imagine yesterday, Rowley asked me, where are you from? I want to tell him that I am from that beautiful constituency where we have resilient and hard-working people that is suffering because you do not fix the roads, the health centers. We do not have a fire station. I am from that constituency. I am from that constituency where you built a 62 million agro-processing facility and it is closed. And going on 2 elections, you're promising pineapple farmers. You know what? We could get kind pineapples in I am from that constituency. I am from that constituency that you will remember that a fishing facility was built, but you will only remember it a month before election because you want to politicize it. I am from that constituency. Debe. I heard a reporter ask, I talk about the old one. I heard a reporter ask the young one, but he didn't ask the young one. He asked as PNM supporter, do you think young stush? Debe, what we know stush to be. When somebody stush, that means you can't approach them. All right, MP endorsing? When somebody stush, that means you can't call them. When somebody stush, that means you can't talk to them. And that is every PNM minister. You can't call them, you can't talk to them. But you know who you could call? You could call the elected reps placed by Kamla Prasad Bisesa. I will tell you stories of persons coming from all over Trinidad and Tobago to my office. MP Barry will tell you the same as he shadows gender affairs, and he will tell you of parents coming and crying because they cannot access grants. I could tell you that. But I am telling you, it's not that young stush. That is his personality. Young and the old raging bull are the same. Their personalities are the same. We cannot talk to them, but you could talk to Kamla. So Trinidad and Tobago, don't make the mistake and put back these clowns. Is the same clowns, same circus. They're trying to pull a fast one, but it's time that we remove this PNM government. So when you stush, it's time we throw them in the bush and a Calypsonian song that. These same clowns, these circus players, they have failed us time and time again. Debe, am I lying? I find a little quiet enough because I have to be lying. Just a couple of months ago, my constituency, we were rocked by the brutal murder of a father and a daughter. And I could tell you nothing has changed. Families are grieving, and yet this government is doing nothing. They send no resources no additional patrols, no support to families affected, no compassion. The PNM government is a compassionless government. UNC family, when UNC win, everybody wins. And they all must go. If you want compassion, vote Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Under the UNC government, we will open facilities that they failed to open. And I want to point in the direction of that university that was built. In my constituency, I want to go back to the roadway because there is a landslip that is threatening a public servant home. And I have to tell this story here tonight. This man has lost, Mr. Taradat has lost 3 homes, and he's on the verge of losing another, and this is in Saradat Road. And this man is a member of the regiment. From my office, I would have taken the time and written letters to every government official that I felt could have done something to help Mr. Taradat. And no response to date. David, this man is on the verge of losing another home. He lost his 2-story concrete structure. His mother gave him her wooden structure that went down in the landslip. He moved into his parents' home, and that is going down the landslip because of a water leak. And no one is hearing the plight of Mr. Taradat. So I want to beg government officials here tonight to hear that man cry. That man and his family, they are going through something that is beyond depression. When that wife speaks, you would not like to hear how she talks. And I am begging, if anything should happen to that family tonight, again, it's on the head of this government. With that being said, I have to talk about roads of like John Lendo, Madingo. I will say the whole of Tablan right now, the Naparima Mia Road. These roads are plagued with landslips, and this government is not doing anything. David, it's time we send this government packing, and you have to agree with me here tonight. It is time that we send this Rowley government packing. Because when we thought that this government was going to come with solutions, that this government will come with jobs, create jobs for our youths, this government will foster community spirit and bring policies, and they will tend to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This government always trying to pull a fast one. And I want to tell you, if we should take God of our thought and put back this government, they have already put WASA on notice. They have put pensioners on notice. Because the same man that said he's not closing down Petrochin is the same man that he wants to say a public servant put in a clause to make the pension a grant. WASA, we know that they have intention to close down or to privatize. We have to get rid of this government. As I told you, my mission here tonight is good behavior, nothing. This government have to go. David, let me hear you. Rowley and his anointed one have to go. Rowley said what Rowley said? Rowley said he's waiting for CARICOM because it have one last meeting. When I heard that, it's like this man want a class party before he exit. But I sure CARICOM officials don't want to see Rowley. CARICOM officials used to find joy to see Kamla because they will get something from Kamla. Who wants to see Rowley? This man wants a glorified class party. You know when a teacher resigning and you keep a little session? This man wants a session. But we telling him go now. It's time for him to go. So David, that is my duty here tonight. And I want to take the opportunity, as my brother Ali Bokas would have done, and I want to thank my activists. I want to thank my political leader for having faith in me. Because when she stood up to defend me against that raging bull, he stood up there yesterday and he said, hear him, where you from? Where you from? And I'm not going to repeat the terms because he wanted to race bait. But I am not going to race bait, Rowley. I don't wait for election to know my hair turn up. I don't wait for election to know the complexion of my skin. I don't wait for election to know that the coat of arms, and it would be nice to see the steel pan on it. We all love the steel pan. Who love the steel pan more than Mr. Kanhai, our General Secretary? If you stand up next to that man, you will get a story about the steel pan. And that is a man that loves the steel pan. But what we are dealing with is Rowley, who is fearful about his legacy. And because he's fearful about his legacy, he wants to create things. He wants to sign off on bills because he is the most hated Prime Minister in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. David, tell me a lie. When you think about Rowley, you think about hardship. You think about tightening your belt. My pants so slack, I had to pull it up about 10 times tonight. That is what you think about when you think about Rowley. When you think about Rowley and you go through the places like the Mang, and these are their strongholds in my area, you think about depression. This man has done nothing for his people. So I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago, if you couldn't walk to Rowley and say, you know my flower bucket empty, you think you could go by Stuart? But I want to tell you, you can't go by Stuarty. Murga table, and if your flower bucket empty, you can't go by Stuarty. Single mothers, if you can't buy milk. These are not persons that understand the cry of the simple man. Kamla Prasad Bisesa understands the cry of the simple man. Michelle Benjamin understands the cry of the simple and average man. And we know that the economy has to boost for everyone to do good. So tonight, Debe, we are on election footing. And we are saying, bye-bye Rowley and your anointed one. Well, I should say Emperor Rowley, because we're not in a democratic society, you know. We dealing with kings and queens that are appointed. So, Debe High, bye-bye Rowley. And we are endorsing our next Prime Minister that will be an elected one, Kamla Prasad Bisesa.
Lucky for you, my friend. I in a good spirit. I think in a good spirits. The vibes right up to the limits.
Come on, David, people, you can do better. Put your hands together. Let's hear, David. Let's send the message. Election is in the air. Time to vote them out. All must go. I want to acknowledge our General Secretary here tonight, Mr. Peter Kanhai, MP Rishi Sicharan from Karani East. Welcome, MP. Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal Ramdial. MP for Faizabad, Dr. Lakram Bodo. MP Anil Ram, Karani Central. MP Rudy Endar Singh, Kuva South. And all the Penal Debe councillors, where are you? Let me hear you. All Siparia regional councillors and all who are here in this pavement report, welcome, welcome. Election is in the air. Saddam Hussein is an attorney at law with experience in both criminal and civil law. He earned his Bachelor of Laws degree from the University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, Barbados, where he served as president of the Trinidad and Tobago Student Association. After returning to Trinidad, he completed his legal education certificate at Hugh Wooden Law School, graduating on Principal's Roll of Honor and winning the Justice Wendell Kangaloo Advocacy Award. During his time at the law school, MP Saddam represented Trinidad and Tobago as a prosecutor in New York and won the award for Best Prosecution Brief. He was coached by the late Dana Sitahal, Senior Counsel, and completed his in-service training at her chambers. Additionally, MP Saddam has served as an opposition senator for 3 years and is currently the youngest member of parliament in the 12th Republic Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago for Barataria San Juan. He is also the candidate for the upcoming 2025 general elections, contesting again the seat of Barataria San Juan. Let's put our hands together and welcome the young and vibrant Member of Parliament for Barataria San Juan, MP Saddam Hussein.
Thank you very much, Shanti. UNC family. UNC family. The beautiful people of Debe. Thank you for welcoming me in the constituency of Oropuch East, better known as the Den of the Lion. The Lion of Oropuch East, the Honorable Dr. Rudal Munilal. I want to acknowledge the presence of my parliamentary colleagues, both in the upper and lower house, members of the local government fraternity. I also see our activist constituency executive. If you stand where I am right now, this is a packed hall right here at Debe High School on a Tuesday evening. A packed hall. I was sitting next to Dr. Munil and I said, Debe have some really big pavements. This is one of the biggest pavement reports we have had in the United National Congress. And your presence here tonight signals that you are ready. You are ready to get rid of Stuart Young. You are ready to get rid of Keith Rowley. You are ready to get rid of all of them. All of them must go. It could be 11, it could be 9. All of them must go. The United National Congress is poised. We are ready. We are a well-oiled machine to take on General Election 2025 and return the great party of the UNC to the corridors of power and install a Prime Minister none other than the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa of Senior Counsel as the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Yesterday, my brothers and sisters, we were summoned to the Parliament to discuss a very important matter, and it had to deal with what has been proclaimed or declared in Trinidad and Tobago on the 30th of December 2024, which is a state of public emergency. And yesterday the Parliament was summoned to discuss the statement of Her Excellency with respect to the proclamation of the state of emergency and the extension of the state of emergency for a further 3 months or 90 days. And the government came to that debate and they could not give us a cogent piece of compelling evidence that would suggest that they required a state of emergency for the next 3 months. They did not tell us of the successes of the state of emergency. Today, we know through the media that on Olea's night, Randall Hector, an attorney at law, leaving church, was gunned down. A couple days ago, a colleague of mine and a dear friend, Miss Kumari Bakshan, her husband, another attorney at law, was killed in their Komoto home, gagged, murdered, brutally murdered. And that is the success of the state of emergency. We in the United National Congress indicated through the opposition leader who spoke 3 times yesterday on both debates and then on the national emblems debate. What is the relevance? What is the success of the state of emergency? Rowley get up, he say, well, if we didn't have the state of emergency, we may have had more murders. How Rowley know that? How Rowley know that? Today, we are afraid to come out of our homes because of the crime situation. He tells us, he says, he know that it have police officer lock up in police station in the night, taking off the light because they're afraid to go outside and fight crime. We put Erla Christopher there. It is Rowley Rowley used his majority in the parliament to appoint Erla Christopher. And then he gave her a 1-year extension last year to this year. Rowley is responsible, directly responsible for what is taking place with the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. So don't let Rowley come and fool you and tell you, well, look, we try to have a state of emergency to help deal with the crime situation. Kamla Persad-Bissessar called for the state of emergency in January last year. And he said, you know what? That won't work. In 2011, when we had a state of emergency, he chastised the former government. He said, we are wasting time. We have enough laws on the books to deal with crime. Well, tonight I will go through some of those laws with you. But this state of emergency is a complete waste of time. It is not helping the crime situation. Everyone is still afraid. We are apprehensive. Businessmen are afraid because the crime situation is still unabated. Now, I want to tell you that under the regulations with respect to the crime situation, they have proclaimed several pieces of legislation through the president's hand. But this is not the president doing this. This is Rowley and the cabinet and Stuart Young telling the president what to sign off on. So don't get fooled and think Mrs. Christine Kangaloo doing this on her own. It is Rowley and Stuart Young instructing her what to do. Now we have a regulation called Regulation 3, and I spoke of this yesterday in the debate. It deals with the state of emergency regulations, making it a criminal offense that if someone has firearms, they have ammunition, they have explosives, that they will be charged under the state of emergency under those laws. Do you know that that law is already existing on the book without a state of emergency? Under Section 6 of the Firearms Act, it is already illegal to be in possession of a firearm, ammunition without a permit. In fact, under the state of emergency, if you are fined or you are charged, prosecuted, the offense and the fine is $100,000 and to imprisonment for 5 years. If you are charged with, under the Firearms Act, the first offense is $500,000 or 15 years in prison. So there are much more stiffer penalties, harsher penalties under the existing law rather than the emergency law. Now I raised this point yesterday in the parliament. Stuart Young, the next prime minister, get up after me. He says, Saddam, I know what he's talking about. He says, Saddam don't know what he's saying about the emergency regulations. Well, today in the Guardian, the Trinidad Guardian, there's an article and it reads, Magistrate asked cop why man was charged under SOE. He says the regular laws carry stiffer penalty. So what me and the acting chief magistrate wrong and Stuart Young correct? Stuart Young, you probably collect your senior counsel silk in a cellophane bag. That is what you do. When I was in the law school, I graduated on the principal rules of honor. And I don't need silk to tell you that the state of emergency laws is a waste of time. They already existing on the books. The acting chief magistrate came out in open court and said, look, this thing is already a law. Why are you charging people under the state of emergency? Charge them under the Firearms Act. The penalties are stiffer. They are harsher. If you're really serious about this crime situation, the government, what they need to do is call the election now because they have lost we have lost all confidence in them. Call the elections now. They have given up. Could you imagine they declared a state of emergency on the 30th of December? They go on with the bikini and swim trunks in Tobago, swimming. They must study in no state of emergency. And when they reached there, it had a big fight. Who go be the leader? They wasn't thinking about criminal. They wasn't thinking about 6, 7, 8, 9 gang. They were thinking about who will be the next leader after Rowley resigned. They did not care about your safety. They did not care about that. They cared about themselves. And we must tell them that the UNC cares about the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So it could be Stuart Young, it could be Keith Rowley, it's the same circus and the same clowns that we're dealing with. And you must vote all those clowns out of office. We must vote them out. We also in this country have very, very harsh laws, very invasive laws when it comes to intelligence gathering. You are telling me that on Olea's night, that attorney at law, Mr. Hector, was gunned down, and the intelligence agencies, the SSA, did not have intelligence to inform law enforcement that there's a hit on this man's life. When the president brought a statement to the parliament, we were told that a gang leader, alleged gang leader, was almost gunned down outside the Besseau Street police station. Are you telling us that there was not an intelligence hit to inform law enforcement that this was in fact going to happen? You know what they were doing with the SSA? They were using the SSA as a political weapon to spy on their political opponents. That is what they were doing. They don't want to know which criminal going after which attorney or which criminal going after which criminal. You know what they wanted to know? They wanted to know if Mrs. Munilal calling Dr. Munilal to buy whole wheat bread or white bread. That is what they were doing. They were tapping the cell phones of political opponents. Their business is not about fighting crime. They want to know where our next meeting is. They want to know where we're going to lime. They are not in the business of governance in Trinidad and Tobago, and we must reject them, and we must vote them out. We must vote them out. We must vote them out. There's another issue that I wish to raise while I'm on this matter of the leadership of the country. I don't care about what the PNM Constitution says. That is none of my business. I have no business with that. My business is with the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And whatever a political party does has direct implications on the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago. So when they decide to play the fool in Balize House and play soap opera, Bold and Beautiful and Young and Restless, they must understand that there are serious implications with respect to the Constitution. Because Section 76 of the Constitution speaks about the appointment of a Prime Minister. And this section deals with the President having to be convinced of the person who commands the majority of the House of Representatives will be appointed as the Prime Minister. But the Constitution does not only say it has to be the man who commands the majority. This is what it says. The Constitution acknowledges the political leader of the party that wins the majority of seats in the House will be appointed as the Prime Minister. It is clear. It says, the President shall appoint as Prime Minister a member in the House of Representatives who is the leader in that House of the party which commands the support of the majority of members of that House. So the first port of call the President will look at is who is the political leader that won the general election. That person will be the Prime Minister of the country. And if there's no undisputed leader, they will now go to see who has the majority. But what the PNM has now done is probably turning this country into a constitutional crisis. Because now, what they have done is going to appoint a man who is not the political leader of the PNM as the Prime Minister, and Rowley will continue to be the political leader of the PNM. So there must be a clear directive of what they are doing, because it may affect Section 76 of the Constitution. I saw Senior Counsel Martin Daly also raise this issue in the Trinidad Express on Sunday, calling the article, I believe, the awkwardness of the President. So those are very serious matters of what happens in Balize House could have national implication to Trinidad and Tobago and its governance. And then yesterday, Rowley says, in this state of emergency, again, they're only thinking about what Balize House business in the Red House. He said that the criminals have killing machines, they have automatic rifles. All you know that we just manufactured in Trinidad? They have no gun factory in Trinidad. Those things come through the illegal ports of entry. He spoke of killing machines. I am reliably told that the port of Point Lisas in the last 3 years did not have operational scanners. You have no proper boats manning the Coast Guard, the coast of Trinidad and Tobago. You have the intelligence agencies collapse, and that is all what is contributing to this runaway crime situation and the criminals having high-powered rifles and automatic firearms in their possession. And these are serious issues that we raise on this platform. I am also told that there are issues with the TTRA and the duplication of resources and also confusion with the workers after that Privy Council judgment. So today, my brothers and sisters, we have lost faith, we have lost confidence in this PNM government. Be it Young, be it Rowley, we want them out. We want them all out. We want them all out. My brothers and sisters, we on the United National Congress, we have the plan. We have the policies. We have indicated that when we get back in power, we will make sure that gun ownership becomes easier for those who deserve it. You must be able to stand your ground against the criminals. Rowley and his cabinet, they are protecting the criminals. We will ensure that we put the criminals behind bars if you elect us as the next United National Congress government. Look, I went back into history. This is a CNC3 article dated the 7th of January 2014. And the article reads, this is when Rowley was opposition leader. In the 7 p.m. news, breaking news, the People's National Movement says it has an overnight plan to fix the police service and crime on a whole. 7th of January 2014. You know how much night passed after that? Today they are recording over 5,000 murders in Trinidad and Tobago. 5,000 murders. We must get these people out if you want to feel safe again. You must get these people out if you want to feel safe again. So my brothers and sisters, I thank you all for this show of support here for the United National Congress. You are ready. We are ready. Let us get rid of Stuart Young, Keith Rowley, and all of them. All must go, and I thank you very much.
Let's hear it for the Member of Parliament, Saddam Hussein, who executes with such legal precision that all of the opponents of the UNC are running. Brothers and sisters, we are at the Pavement report of the United National Congress. We are in Debe. We are at the Debe Secondary School in the constituency of Oropuch East, also known as the Lion's Den. And in the front row here, I see Member of Parliament for Couva South, MP Rudy Indar Singh, and a large entourage of members that he has come with. Also with us is the next Member of Parliament for San Fernando West, Dr. Dowlat. Let us hear it for these front row members here. And let us hear it for all of the people that has come from far and wide to be part of this UNC Pavement report. As our dear MP Saddam spoke of, UNC has the plans. It is the UNC that has paved every road in this region. It is UNC that has ensured that every citizen has water. And I will reveal something to you. The reason why roads are in the state that it is in is because the secondary roads company has been set up by the PNM, and the local government practitioners, the councillors, have been told to send names and all of the roads will be repaired and paved. And 1 year after, and $62 million later, the secondary roads company was closed down. That is not all. The budget for 2023-2024 gave an allocation to the corporations. And after the confirmation of funds was received and the council went ahead and completed those projects, the corporations have been betrayed. At September 30th, when the financial year closed, the monies for those projects were not paid. What is the impact to you, the people, for which the UNC cares and is concerned about? It means that this financial year, 2024-2025, you will have no projects. And in this region, it is a flood-prone region. That could tell you the scare and the horrors that we face in terms of this PNM governance and its trickery. UNC family, let me just make some noise for all of the people who have come here today. In the language of the artists, we are on the inside and the house is full. And on the outside, the house is full. Let's make some noise. UNC Pavement report in the constituency of Oropuch East, the Lion's Den. The next speaker is no stranger to us.
Barry Padarat. He holds a bachelor's degree in government and international relations. He holds a postgraduate degree in communications from the Atlantic College in Wales and a diploma in law from the University of London. Need I say any more of the capability of this MP? I will continue. He has a distinguished career in foreign service of Trinidad and Tobago and has served as a diplomatic officer and deputy head of ceremonial. His extensive academic qualifications and his professional experience makes him a notable figure in the landscape of Trinidad and Tobago. Would you agree with me? Nice. He is also known as the Peppermouth because anybody who opposes the UNC, he just burned them. Let us welcome the Member of Parliament for Princess Tong, Barry Padarat.
Political leader of the United National Congress, who is viewing us this evening, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the best Prime Minister and the next Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Our colleagues in the House, in the den here this evening, our host, Member of Parliament. We heard him roar in the Parliament and we will hear him roar right here in Urupush East, Dr. Rudal Munilal. Our parliamentary colleagues joining us this evening, I see several of them. The MP for Couva South, MP Rudy Indarsingh, neighboring MP Dr. Lakram Bodo, MP Dr. Rashad Sicharan, my brother MP Arnold Ram. I see the chairman of our party as well, neighboring MP Dave Tanku. Several of our senators here this evening with us. Joining us is our dear sister, Senator Jayanti Lakshmidiyal. Several of our candidates in the next general election. I see Richard Smith taking home the seat of Aruka Maloney from the lady herself, Camille Robinson Regis. Taking the seat of San Fernando West, none other than the educator, the man who brought Education City to the city of San Fernando, Dr. Michael Dowlat. Dr. Dowlat, our young, hard-working entrepreneur brother who took the Marabella South seat for the very first time for the United National Congress. Give it up for Macamillion, John Michael Alibokas. Brothers and sisters, so many of you I see from the local government fraternity here this evening. It will be remiss of me if I do not recognize the mayor of Faizabad, the indomitable, the outspoken, Dudnath Meru. Mayor, are you here with us? I saw also the chairman of the Princess Tong Regional Corporation, the hardworking, the effervescent, Gauri Rupnarayan, and I take the opportunity to also recognize my own constituents joining us from the constituency of Princess Town. I thank you for joining us this evening on the pavement. And we cannot forget the young, the industrious Mayor of Shagwanas, Mayor Faik Mohammed. May I take a bow for the hard work you're doing in the borough of Shagwanas. Many of our brothers and sisters in the local government fraternity, we pay our respects. Brothers and sisters of the United National Congress all. That was a very extensive list. But it goes to show that we appreciate you and we appreciate your efforts. Because as Saddam has told you tonight, tonight's crowd is a mammoth crowd. It is one of the largest pavement reports we have had. And this signals the strength of the United National Congress going into the general election of 2025. The 19 members of Parliament of the United National Congress. We found ourselves in the Parliament from 1:30 yesterday to about 11 o'clock last night. And leading the charge from the front was a political leader, speaking first on the presidential statement regarding the state of emergency. She then spoke on the regulations for the state of emergency. And then at about 10:30 last night, standing up in the parliament, battling the Rottweiler, the raging bull himself, was none other than Kamla Persad-Bissessar for a third time, demonstrating her commitment to fighting and standing in the gap for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Tonight, I can tell you safely, we in the UNC don't have to ask nobody who is our leader. We know damn well who is our leader. Our leader comes from no other constituency, and don't let anybody fool you. Our leader comes from the neighboring constituency of Separia. Separia, are you here tonight? Brothers and sisters, the representation that we saw yesterday in the parliament is nothing new to us. The political leader demonstrated her strength, she demonstrated her tenacity, and she demonstrated her wisdom in terms of being able to point out the fundamental differences as it relates to what is our position with respect to the state of emergency and extending the state of emergency powers that the government took upon themselves yesterday for an additional 3 months. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, our choice is very clear. In this election, we, the UNC, our political leader, our members of parliament, our senators, our party officials, what do we represent? What do we represent to the people and the population of Trinidad and Tobago going into this general election? We represent stability, we represent experience, and we represent competence. We are not the young and the useless. We are the United National Congress. And when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Now, the government started off this year, 2025, with distraction. They have been reeling, and let us draw minds back to what occurred in December of 2024. It was after political leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar bowled out Colm Imbert, the Minister of Finance, exposing the hypocrisy and the lies on the ANR International Airport in Tobago. You all recalled when back-to-back, Thursday and Friday, Colm Imbert come to tell this country, well, I didn't know it was so. I didn't read the note. I wasn't there in the cabinet at the time. But political leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar, she had the facts, she had the information. And we must ask ourselves, Trinidad and Tobago United National Congress supporters, would we have known the truth with respect to what was happening at the Arthur Napoleon Raymond International Airport had it not been for Kamla Persad-Bissessar and the United National Congress? When the political leader stood and she said, listen, it's not 1 million. It's not even 2 million that Imbert told us about on the Thursday, but come and backtrack and back. When the political leader pulled out her documents and she showed that it was over $200 million in cost overruns. I saw, the leader has always been warning us about the Trinidad Guardian and CNC3. I saw that when the political leader said that there were contractors at the Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson International Airport affiliated to the People's National Movement who are getting contracts so they could then siphon money to the PNM to run their general election campaign, the Trinidad Guardian and the CNC3 ran a headline. They said that Kamla tell them that while P&M contractors were getting big contract in the Tobago airport. She couldn't tell them and couldn't name one. That was the headline. You know, it was the same, like them don't talk to each other in the Guardian. Because that weekend, the front page of the Guardian then tells us in an exclusive expose that Alan Warner, the favorite best friend of the Prime Minister, favorite contractor of the People's National Movement in Tobago, was getting hundreds of millions of dollars in government contracts at the Arthur Napoleon Raymond Robinson International Airport in Tobago. So would we have known as a country when Imbert lied intentionally to the population that the cost overrun at the Piarco International Airport was only $2 million US. Dr. Munilal always tells us, they give you the price in US dollars because they feel it's small, it sounds small. When you translate that, the truth and the fact really meant that it was over $200 million in cost overrun. The next one, and the last meeting we had in 2024 at the party's headquarters, again, leading from the front, the political leader exposed the government as it relates to the pensions bill. You all recall that? We cannot allow them to forget what they have done to the people of this country. And we must not, as a party, as elected representatives of the mouth, the voice of the people of the United National Congress, allow them to get away with what they have done, picking the pockets of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And therefore tonight when we remind you of what they did to senior citizens, pensioners in this country. When we went on that platform through our political leader and we exposed that in the pensions bill there was a clause that said that there was going to be a ceiling cap, that if pensioners had $25,000 and more in their bank accounts, they would be automatically disqualified from receiving pension. It was the same Kamla Prasad Bisesa, let me remind you, that stood up in Cuba South Hall and told you about the $200 million in fake oil. Brothers and sisters, leading from the front, we have the choice of stability, we have the choice of experience, and we have the choice of competence. Tonight, I can tell you why the PNM, through Prime Minister Keith Rowley, has chosen to anoint Stuart Young. In the coronation of Stuart Young, Rowley sees himself in Young. Understand that very clearly. Rowley sees himself in Young. He sees the hot-headedness. He sees the intolerance. He sees the hatefulness. He sees the raging bull. He sees that Young is like himself, temperamental. Brothers and sisters, he sees a man who is totally out of control. And that is why I can tell you the reason, the long and short of the situation of why Rowley has chosen to anoint and coronate Stuart Young is because he sees all the traits of himself in Stuart Young. That is no lie. That is fact. Brothers and sisters, today I want to tell you with certainty. The front page of the papers, Rowley says that the TTPS is hiding from criminals. For the last 2 weeks, the government has been hiding from the people during a state of emergency. For 2 weeks, they have been embattled with each other, fighting for leadership, while you are fighting for survival. While they are fighting and embattled among themselves for leadership, you are fighting for survival. That is the state of play in this country. Brothers and sisters, they have timed and planned these distractions to take your mind away from the joblessness, to take it away from the runaway crime, from the economy being in shambles. Tonight I want to deal with two specific issues. And one has to do with the pension bill. Now the political leader told you one of the clauses in that pension bill says that if you had $25,000 or more, you will be disqualified and they will take away pension from you. But there's another clause in that pension bill that I want to draw to your attention. And it is clause 14. Clause 14 in the pension bill says that they will monitor your travel arrangements if you are out of the country. But that threw my mind back to when they came with the amendment to the Data Protection Act in 2022, Jayanti. I see Jayanti smiling because she remembers it. The opposition in the Senate raised at that time that in the Data Protection Act, they were cherry picking which sections they wanted to proclaim. And the opposition, again standing in the gap for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, said you could not select parts of the act that gives you the power to go into immigration from the Ministry of Social Development to get people's travel records to see how long they were out of the country, where they were going, and macroing their business. Well, with their simple majority, the government proclaimed at the end of 2022 parts of the Data Protection Act that today, when you read clause 14 of the pension bill, and listen, the political leader told them in the parliament yesterday, ahead of the parliament, she told them, withdraw the bill. Do you know that the bill remains on the order paper? As it stands right now, the bill is on the order paper. So that tells you that they have no intention. The AG jumped out of his hole 7. He told us he will be withdrawing the bill. Up to today, the bill remains on the order paper. They have not removed the bill from the order paper. And that is why we can tell you that's not armor, that is lie more. Lies, lies, and more lies. And that is why we draw to your attention, brothers and sisters, what you can expect going into the last few months of this government being in office. The second issue that I want to raise with you this evening has to do with the timing. The timing of Prime Minister Rowley's announcement of his impending departure. Now, he came in January, the first week, and he told us he's going. Then when pressed by the media in terms of asking for a timeline, he said, well, he had a CARICOM meeting in February. And when he come back from CARICOM, you all remember there was something called the Salary Reviews Commission report that the government accepted in December. You all remember that? When Rowley gave himself $87,000. When in the last pavement report, I spoke in the last pavement report in 2024. I dared the government and I dared our own members of parliament, because I could talk for 14. I don't know where the next 5 was going. But I will repeat to you what I said in the last pavement report of 2024. I told the Prime Minister, I said, go back. Bring the report to the Parliament and allow all 41 members of Parliament to debate the report. Let all 41 members stand up in the Parliament in front of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and say what is your position, whether or not you want the back pay, you want the salary increase, or you don't want it. Well, what was the government's response? Rowley came and he said, well, listen, we are not bringing no report to be debated to the Parliament. Instead, the Minister of Finance will issue a circular. He will issue a circular. And that is how they will bring into effect the $87,000 a month salary for the Prime Minister. Now, I want to tell you this. Whether or not Stuart Young serves 1 day, 2 days, 1 month, 3 months, or 6 months as Prime Minister of this country. How it works is that he will receive $87,000 a month for the rest of his life. Because what happens is that your pension as a Prime Minister does not start like members of Parliament when you are 55 years old. It starts automatically when you demit the office of Prime Minister. I want you all to understand that very clearly. At any age, once you demit the office of Prime Minister, you are entitled to the $87,000 a month. And Stuart Young, if he serves 1 day or 6 months, he will be entitled to that. Now you might ask yourself, where are you going with all of this? I told you about the timing of the Prime Minister's announcement. I want to ask the Prime Minister from this platform tonight whether or not it is true that the administrative arrangements have not been made because there's a process to be followed, and that the administrative arrangements will only be completed at the end of February. At the end of February, for the Prime Minister and the government to receive the new salary of $87,000 a month. And that is why you're hemming and you're hawing from exiting the office of Prime Minister. Come out and tell us that it is no trip to Barbados to meet Mia Motley. Instead, it is your own selfish greed that you are seeking your own personal interest. And that is why he's giving himself the leeway, the time of December gone. He holding on in January. He waiting for February because he knows at the end of February, the administrative arrangements will be completed. And that is when the new salary will come into effect. And he is only going to demit office when he could pocket that $87,000 riding the back of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, Saddam told you, Michel told you, Maka told you, that it is not Rowley, it is all must go. Tonight I want to point out one person in this audience. One. Somebody who could tell you, not as a politician, but who can tell you as a wife and a mother, the pain, the heartache, the turmoil that Stuart Young put her through and put her family through by keeping her husband in a pipeline for 4 days. And that is none other than our own counselor, Vanessa Kusi. Vanessa stands here with her 5-year-old who asks every single day, when is daddy coming home? Not knowing where she's going to be able to buy books for her child to go to school. That pain and that heartache never goes away. And Vanessa can tell you, when she stood in that boardroom, the callousness, the hate, the spite that was meted out to her and the 5 other families who endured that pain and suffering. So don't take it from me. Don't take it from our political leader. You have a living example in our own party. And tonight, I want us to put our hands together and congratulate the political leader of the UNC for seeing the wisdom of putting a woman like Vanessa Kusi and the local government fraternity to stand up and speak on behalf of mothers, to stand up and speak on behalf of families who have lost their loved ones. Not a corporate manslaughter, that is murder. That is murder. And nobody could tell me in this country with a clear conscience that you can go and put Stuart Young as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. We must never forget in this country when the Speaker of the House of Representatives puts on the parliamentary record or the Hansard the most disdainful description of a member of parliament for talking about Zami Stuart Zami Young must never be allowed to be the Prime Minister of this country. And when he goes up, when Rowley coronates him and anoints him, and Christine Kangaloo goes and gives him the Bible to swear on, the country must have in their mind that you have a mother, you have a daughter, you have a wife, you have an aunt, you have a political leader who is a woman, the first woman prime minister in this country. That when he stands up and he says, I, Stuart Young, in your mind, he shouldn't say, I, Stuart Richard Young. He should say, I, Stuart Zami Young. Because that is what the children from infants to the grannies in this country will remember. And brothers and sisters, they have taken bread out of the mouths of the people of this country. They have overseen the bloodshed of over 5,000 citizens. But is this the example of someone that you want for your children, for your daughters? We can stand proud in this party and say we have given to this country the first female Attorney General. With distinction, we have given to this country the first female Prime Minister with distinction. What have they given? What are they giving to the people, to the women of this country? They are giving the most disrespectful, intolerable, disdainful man who will ever hold the office. You know, they used to say Chambers was Duncy. This one just simply dirty and nasty. It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, we are on our way to victory. We have told you when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Tonight I can tell you with certainty that we will form the government in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. We have the people, we have the plan, we have the policy, we have the political leader, and we have the political will to make the changes that are necessary to bring about the change that is most needed in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Long live the United National Congress. Long live our political leader, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa. Forward ever, backward never. Forward ever, backward never. I thank you.
Come on, you can do better than that, Pinal David. Nobody can do it better than Peppermouth Barry Padarat. Stability, experience, competence. That is what the UNC is all about. But Mr. Rohan Sinanan, why is it 3 years later, construction projects within the Penal Davy are still outstanding? What about the progress of the Papari Road Bridge and the new Colonial Bridge? Our roads are in terrible state, potholes everywhere. Is it mismanagement? Is it poor engineering? Is it corruption? You boast the PNM has discipline, but true to form, that is a lie. Trinidad and Tobago, the nation continues to suffer under this wicked, rowdy, Stuart-led government. It's time to vote them out. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. All must go. As I introduce your next speaker, he is no stranger to you, all here in the Oropuch East constituency. Dr. Rudal Munilal, put your hands together, is a distinguished academic, a researcher, a politician with a career spanning decades in public service and industrial relations, holding a PhD in development studies with a distinction from the Institute of Social Studies in Holland. He has specialized in labor relations, industrialization, and governance. A former Minister of Housing and Urban Development from 2010 to 2015. Dr. Munilal also served as leader of government business and played a key role in modernizing parliamentary procedures. As a dedicated member of Parliament and a former chairman of the Public Accounts Committee, he remains a powerful voice in politics in Trinidad and Tobago. Beyond politics, Dr. Munilal is a respected lecturer, published researcher, and advocate for workers' rights across the Caribbean, a dynamic speaker and strategist. He stands committed to the vision and leadership of the United National Congress, working tirelessly for the progress of Trinidad and Tobago. Please welcome your Member of Parliament for the constituency of Oropuch East, the Roaring Lion, the Honorable Dr. Rudal Munilal.
Because what don't kill you should make you stronger. So my problems is like steroids, boy. I get my doses from all kinds of sources. I don't know them, they kill me now. You see, I can see me on
Thank you. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Sister Shanti Budram and Brother Gautam Maharaj, chairpersons of this evening's proceedings. A very warm welcome to the Lion's Den on a very big pavement in Oropuch East. Good night, good evening to the Honorable Kamla Prasad Bisesa and members of her family listening to our program this evening, following with great enthusiasm and support and best wishes. Good evening to all assembled at this meeting, and we have hundreds and hundreds. It is a sea of blue and yellow before us. Good evening and welcome to all my parliamentary colleagues. Good evening, welcome to the Mayor, I believe, of Siparia, the Mayor of Chaguanas, members of the local government fraternity. Welcome to our international viewers and supporters. We are now live in Florida, in New York, in Canada, in Europe, on several social media platforms and television, of course, in Trinidad and Tobago and abroad. Special welcome to our great brother in Canada, Mr. Norbert Sukram and his family, who are tuning every single week to every single UNC meeting. I want to welcome as well my sister from Canada is here. Welcome to Sindra Mohammed and her husband Fazan are here visiting and in a UNC meeting, I believe, for many years. They haven't been here for many years and certainly not to a UNC meeting, so I want to welcome them warmly. Brothers and my own brother, of course, Michael, who is more familiar to many of you. We can report now that we have online viewing this meeting, 4,000 live views online. So it is a more successful pavement report. And brothers and sisters, I want to acknowledge the speakers who came before us. Give a warm, warm round of applause to the next member of parliament for San Fernando East, Mr. John Alibocas Maka. And I want to tell him I fought San Fernando East. We came close, but you will not come close. You will defeat that young man in San Fernando East. The next member of parliament for the constituency of San Fernando West, the Honorable Dr. Dowlat, Michael Dowlat is here. Give him a round of applause. Mr. Richard Smith, and that constituency is where there's somebody loitering there now. Is it the WPC? Camille Robinson Regis. We want her out of the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago, and Richard Smith will do that. We have other candidates, of course, appointed as candidates of the UNC already. Mr. Devish Maraj, Mr. Wayne Sturge working very hard. A sister, Dr. Maraj, I believe, in Lopino Bonner, is it? Appointed. Brothers and sisters, we have several more candidates that will find their way very soon as we continue the screening process. So we are very confident. As Brother Saddam Hussein spoke to you after, I want you to welcome Saddam Hussein to Debe. The brilliant Saddam Hussein gave you a lecture in law and politics this evening, and he has emerged as one of the most fiery and bright and eloquent speakers in the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. Our warrior princess spoke earlier, Michelle Benjamin, a social activist and dynamic woman. And of course, I complain every time they do this, I complain, but nobody will listen to me because it is very difficult, it is getting very difficult now to speak after that firebrand. To speak after the Member of Parliament for Princess Tong, the Honorable Barry Padarat. But we have to speak, we can't give up. So brothers and sisters, we have had a great platform this evening. This is what the Pavement report was meant to be. Fire, fire, heat and fire. Against Rowley, against Stuart Young, against all of them because they are one and the same. Don't forget Stuart Young, Rowley, Dial Singh, Hines, all of them, all. They are the ones that took the decisions that caused suffering to the people for 9 continuous years. It was not Rowley alone. It is Stuart Young. Stuart Young, as Saddam suggested, Stuart Young is Rowley mini-me. That is he mini-me. It is in the likeness and image of that leader. Stuart Young is the mini-me. I don't know about the zombie business and so on too much. But I know about the mini-me. He's the mini-me, brothers and sisters. And Barry is right. He is the image of the leader. Crass, without decorum, protocol, without brought-up seat, to use that term, brothers and sisters. That is why Rowley has seen something in him. He sees himself in Stuart Young and has imposed them on the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And Barry told you, I won't repeat at length that business. If he becomes Prime Minister, we will kick him out. But he will end up being kicked out. He may be sitting in the opposition if he wins a seat. He could be sitting in the opposition as an MP with a monthly income of a pension of 87,000 TT dollars. But let me give one even more ugly. Well, I shouldn't say ugly. Let me keep my letter. Even more disturbing. Would you believe every time you travel in Piaco International Airport, you going through the atrium there, this big wrong place, and you have to see Stuart Young picture every time you're leaving? Some of you might leave and don't come back. They have all the former prime ministers there. That fella picture could be there for the rest of your children's life. So it is more disturbing as that. And in other places, government, state institutions and so on, brothers and sisters. But the point here is that they went to Tobago and say, who want to be prime minister? Raise your hand. And 2 people raised their hand. That was narrow. Stuart Young went by some hand or pulling straw or some cup or something like that. You don't elect prime ministers like that. A prime minister must be elected by the people. He or she must represent the will of the people. Not in a back room in Tobago by raising hand and pulling straw. The people must appoint you. If Rowley had a decorum of decency, a commitment to democracy and the rule of law, he will say, well, I done. Let's go to the polls. And whoever the people choose, they choose. Correct? But he wants $87,000 and he wants Stuart Young to get $87,000 too. So their plan, there's a day in the carnival season, only know a day called Fantastic Friday. They want on Fantastic Friday, 2 of them end up in the pocket with $87,000 at the end of February. And they will ride off from government. We will have the responsibility of fixing and repairing this country while the taxpayer, you, get them $87,000 each per month for the rest of their lives. That is where we have reached. That is the problem. Because the government has collapsed, brothers and sisters. They have collapsed in office. Today, I tell you, which prime minister in the world, all you're following news and so on, Which prime minister does declare a state of emergency on Monday and resign by Friday? He declared a state of emergency and he said, gone. Now he cussing the police. He's the leader of the government, you know. He said police taking off the light and hiding in police station. Did you see the newspaper a few hours ago? Earlier Christopher come and said that is not true. They're not taking off the light and hiding. If they take off the light, it's a better see outside. That is where we have reached. But it is Rowley, it is Stuart Young. They are the ones who impose Earlier Christopher and all the deputy commissioners of police. Not me, not Kamla Prasad Bisesa, not the UNC. They put the management of the police and now crying police taking off the light. That is where we are. The government has collapsed in office, brothers and sisters. They don't know what they are doing. They call the state of emergency. I want to show you two headlines. You will see it on the live feed for those viewing. Monday headline, Hines say criminals on the run. Like Hines, you know. Monday. Tuesday, Rowley say cops hiding from criminals. Now I want to tell you something. The only person on the run is Hines. He running from water and Akash Samaru. That's who he running from. But they don't know what they are doing. One say criminal on the run, the next one say cops hiding from criminals. That, brothers and sisters, is the sorry state of this country when Rowley has abdicated his responsibility. This is a soap opera, an episode from a soap opera you are watching here. Every day is drama from the government, as if they could take attention away from the issues we are raising. Pension, poverty, unemployment, economic decline and collapse. Brothers and sisters, Rowley has given up. And some of you happy, I know, when he resigned the other day and he said he going, there was wild celebration. The people of Bebe say, that is the end of a gra. The gra end. I said it was the end of many eras, not the end of an era. So brothers and sisters, I know you were happy, but Stuart Young is Keith Rowley. So we are out of the woods yet, you know. Stuart Young is Keith Rowley. They are together, two of them, brothers and sisters. It is time to end the suffering. For 9 years, coming on 10, they dig out your eye. They take Takari from your leaf. For 9 years, now they switch leader and they say, okay, we refresh now. We're coming back fresh, new. Team, what team? PNM? They copy that from the UNC too. It's the UNC who campaigned with Team UNC, correct? The UNC had Team UNC. Now they want to say Team PNM. While they were fighting and cussing last week over which team they're supporting. Brothers and sisters, we cannot allow this to continue. I want to indicate to you that this country is crying out for change. This country is crying out for hope. This country is crying out for renewal. And there is only one political leader that understands the mood of this country, that understands the aspirations of the people, that identify with their pain, and that leader is Kamla Prasad Bisesa. Brothers and sisters, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has the experience now, has the experience. She has the track record. When she served, she commanded men and women of great expertise and skill and competence, and she led the most progressive government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And she will do it again. I want to tell you from the beginning, a vote for any other political party is a vote for the PNM. I want to remind some of you who are not as young as you look. In the year 2000, the Basdeo Pandey administration fell. In 2001. Do you know a fella up in Tonapuna? He got 189 votes. You remember that? And an entire government went with 189 votes. So think of that carefully. I will remind you, in St. Joseph, there was a by-election that brought in this Dr. Det. A candidate in that election got 500 votes. And Dial Singh slipped in. And he never slipped out since. He's sleeping. Think of that. A vote for any other political party except the UNC is a vote for the PNM. And keep that in your mind as we continue with our campaign, brothers and sisters. I want to remind you as well before I come to a matter of the SOE, brothers and sisters, as we say on this platform, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. Everyone, all in this society. Don't forget, while they are increasing their pension to $87,000, it was a UNC government that converted a grant to a pension and raised the pension for the elderly. Not once, but twice. To my knowledge, that pension has never been increased since we demitted office. It is Kamla Prasad Bisesa who raised the pension for the elderly, not once, but twice. Rowley raised his own pension. That's what he did, brothers and sisters. And while I am on this Rowley fella, I want to ask him tonight, as Saddam would say from this platform, I want to ask him, did you sign the letter yet for the observers? He came to Parliament beating his chest. He said, the letter drafted. They're bringing it to me any minute now and I'm signing for CARICOM observers. Rowley, did you sign and dispatch that letter? Tell us, yes or no. If it's yes, okay. If it's no, why are you delaying? They don't want observers, I'm telling you. They don't want foreign observers to come here and observe and make independent judgment, independent observation and statements on the conduct of elections. And that is a matter we will continue to raise, but Rowley must, of course, answer the question. Brothers and sisters, Saddam spoke to you about the state of emergency debate yesterday, and we had brilliant speeches. The political leader spoke not once, not twice, but I want to tell you, I've been around myself for some time, and I have never come across a political leader until yesterday who spoke 3 times in one parliamentary sitting. 3 times. 3. And yesterday, Saddam spoke, brilliant speaker, Rudy Indar Singh made a great contribution as well. I put in my little 2 cents something, but I couldn't put in penny because she gone. So brothers and sisters, yesterday we made a couple important points. I just want to repeat 2 points. This is the first state of emergency to be held during an election season. An election year, election season. And while you may not think that is important, your rights have been suspended, your constitutional rights, during a time of campaigning. This means that the police have extra powers. If somebody go to a political meeting or a demonstration, they hold a placard, they say, Rowley, we condemn you, and so on. He might call the PNM police friend, the 1 or 2 years, not all, and not the majority, and say that fella there who making noise and cussing the PNM. Or you go and check your house tonight to see if it have gun and ammunition and explosive. They can do that without warrant, without constitutional protection for citizens. They may have a candidate, and the candidate is losing in a marginal seat. Hear this one. A candidate of the PNM might be losing a marginal seat, and they may intimidate and harass a UNC candidate. They say, look, we have information again that somebody have a gun hidden here and is an illegal gun. You all remember the cocaine and gun and what they call a rocket in the water tank, Sadiq Bash? He was in a marginal seat too, Dr. Dowlat. You don't get frightened about that. You are a strong, powerful, courageous man. All of our candidates are powerful, courageous people. But that is what the PNM is capable of doing. If they believe that they are on the back foot, that they are going to lose, don't put anything past Rowley or Stuart Young. They fired the entire SSA director and employees because they did not want to do their bidding of the PNM, to spy on political opponents, etc. Brothers and sisters, do you know today how much murders we have of today? 14 murders in 14 days. Yesterday we asked Hines, Sleepy Joe Hines, we asked him, he does spend half the time half awake and the next half of the time half asleep. We asked him how much people you detain. They have not detained anyone. They say 1 they detain, but not in a detention center. So where detain him? In Guantanamo Bay? Where did you detain the person if he's not in a detention center? You follow that story? The commissioner of prisons said no one has been detained. Hines say one person detained. So where they detain him? In Balize house? Where they detain him in Balize house? So brothers and sisters, they are lying. They are lying. That is why police are saying now SOE means criminals still organizing everything. Criminals still organizing everything. SOE. That is what they are telling us now. They have nothing to show for the state of emergency. 14 murders in 14 days. Nobody detained. The prison, I don't want to take too much time reading. I did it yesterday. Officials of the Prison Officers Association are saying at Carrera, which is a detention center, the boat not working. Well, with this PNM, no boat working. Man, if they were in charge of the love boat, nobody in love. They cannot manage any boat. No boat working to take prisoners to and from Carrera. In Carrera, there's no dormitory, proper facilities for prison officers. At Golden Grove, they are telling us the alarm is not working. The alarm, look, in a prison, the alarm is not working. That is not in your car. There's a prison. The alarm is not working. It has mold. The roofing has problems. The roof falling down in the prison. And Hines say, to my knowledge, everything good. Everything good. Now, there's a fella who bounced down a dog and don't want to take responsibility for bouncing down a dog. You think he can take responsibility for the highest murder rate in the history of this country? So, brothers and sisters, that is the state we are in. And while we are in that, I come now to what I want to really raise with you. And you will be shocked. Brothers and sisters, you all will recall, but before I go there, another lie they are putting in the public domain, brothers and sisters. Another lie. They are saying that the UNC, they have this irritating regurgitation of rhetoric and lies. That sound good, huh? Yeah. It's an irritating regurgitation of lies. And the UNC, when we leave, the treasury was empty and running on what? Fumes and so on. I tell them when we go back there, we have to get a cobweb room because the treasury have cobweb in it. It has nothing inside there, it's cobweb. We left the Heritage Stabilization Funds. I have the documents in my hand. We left with how much billion? 12 billion United States dollars. Multiply that by 7 quick somebody. That is over 80 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. We left the Heritage Stabilization Fund. Today, the Stabilization Fund has less than 50 billion TT dollars. They have, and that is if they were supposed to be putting money in the fund. The fund is not supposed to be stable. They have made, MP Tanku I think sent me the documents today. They have made 11 drawdowns, Mr. Tanku. 11 drawdowns on the Heritage Stabilization Funds. 11. Totaling, hear this one, totaling, 7 trees, 21. Totaling almost 21 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. They put their hand in the cookie jar and take 21 billion TT dollars from the Heritage Stabilization Fund. And then they say, we're managing the economy, things going good. It's going good because you're taking money from the Treasury and the Heritage Fund. That is it. We left them. Brothers and sisters, when they were drawing down this, we have all the dates. From June 2016 to June 2024, they took 21 billion Trinidad and Tobago dollars. They cannot manage anything. The Imbert and Rowley and Stuart Young, they will borrow money to eat food. You ever go to buy barbecue and you ask the fella next year, you're going to lend me $40? Because you don't have money to buy food. That is how they are running this country now, borrowing money to live. It will take a government of Kamla Prasad Bisesa and bright men and women, finance, economics and so on, to return this country to growth and to revenue. Brothers and sisters, I want to deal for a few minutes. If you all will permit me, I want to deal with this fella called Stuart Young. You all will permit me to do that? Before I think I just need to wet the throat before I do that. This fella Stuart Young, anointed as Prime Minister by Keith Rowley. If I ask any one of you, name one achievement of that guy in 9 years as a cabinet minister. Anybody can name him? I think I just need to wet the throat. If you hear Tim Gopi sing, you say 100 schools. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Prime Minister. Watch the plaque out there. It is Kamla Prasad Bisesa who built the school you sitting down in tonight. She built here under the Pandey administration. You hear? I mean, you hear water. You think of the minister in charge of water, how much water we run for people. If you think of health, you think of Dr. Bodo, you think of Fuad Khan, for example, and you say Kuva Hospital, San Fernando Teaching Hospital, Point Fortin Hospital, Arima Hospital, all hospital. Wage negotiations, well, you must think are embarrassing. Errol McLeod, you say 135 wage negotiations solved. You think of social development, you say, oh, the baby grant, UNC, Kamla Prasad Bisesa increase pension, increase the grants for people. Huh? Minimum wage, UNC, Kamla, we increase that. You think of that. You think of our next ministry. Sports, you think of the cycle velodrome. You think of that. If you say housing, you think of who? You might think of nobody. You think of Jolene John, deputy leader, delivering housing, building houses and so on, with a little help from yours truly. So you have ministers. You think, Stuart Young, what do you think about? He was in front Queen's Park Oval with a bullhorn, talking to the Venezuelan people coming here illegally and giving instructions on a bullhorn. That's what you remember, you know. He created this crisis with the illegal immigrants from Venezuela. That is Stuart Young's legacy. Today, all the problems we face related in some manner to that illegal stream of migrants. It is Stuart Young who created that as Minister of National Security. You know the one I just remember he for? Badly? Well, two more are coming too, but one, during the height of COVID, when your mother, your father, your brother, your sister was abroad, he locked the borders and left your family stranded abroad. Huh? Bring in Rich Nelson. Delcy, yes. He bring in, that was Nelson. He bring in Delcy Rodriguez, sanctioned by the United States during COVID, but left your mother and father and brother and sister stranded in Barbados, begging Mia Motley for food, for water, for accommodation, which she gave, and we are thankful to her to this day for helping citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. There were people in Canada, in the United States, who had to live on the street, spend nights in train station, in subway station, because Stuart Young locked the border on a citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. That's the fellow who wants to be Prime Minister. But the one that touches our heart is what Barry raised, and I will not dwell too much on it. It was February 2022. Stuart Young was the Minister of Energy. And when I visited that scene on the Sunday night, I went on Sunday night with some of my colleagues here. Our brother, Dupre, you were there. He's in the audience now. Former Petrotrin employee. He was there. And when I landed there, I saw the lack of leadership. I felt it in my bones that there was no leadership. There was no government direction. They did not give those families a Crick's biscuit, a bottle of water. They gave nothing. The next day, some of us MPs of the UNC ordered food for the families. Had Kamla Prasad Bisesa been Prime Minister, brothers and sisters, she would have fly down from wherever she is, Port of Spain, San Fernando. She would have reached on the site with her Minister of Energy, National Security, and demanded that they do something. Knowing her as I do, she would have told us, go and take a Caribbean airline jet and fly in any technical people from any part of the world to ensure that they arrive there and save those people. The PNM did nothing. They allowed that situation to develop and end in the most horrible, the most tragic ending of any crisis in the in any industrial site in Trinidad and Tobago. That is it, brothers and sisters. And brothers and sisters, a few months ago, I believe it was in September, I asked a question in the Parliament. I asked Stuart Young to tell us, brothers and sisters, how many times he went to Venezuela. When he went to Venezuela, who he met, officials. When he went to Venezuela, who he took with him. When he went to Venezuela, how much each trip cost. Well, the fella run and hide. Man, he hide in September. He hide in October. He hide in December. The speaker had to write a letter to him, look the letter here, telling him, Mr. Minister, you have not answered this question. I demand reasons for the delay in answering. We are now calling it the infamous question 9. It is the question 9 of the century. Anytime you hear question 9, it is question 9. It was filed. Why did you not answer question 9? She asked him. I appreciate, please tell me. The letter is dated December 12th. Well, we waited, and finally, we got something resembling a response. I have the response in my hand. Let me say, it is now a public document. It is not a private and secret document. This is the response. And there's a reason why they didn't reply. You see, let me just tell you what I asked, so you keep it in mind. The number of occasions on which Stuart Young traveled to Venezuela, the official agenda of each meeting, a list of all officials in attendance at each meeting, cost of travel, accommodation, hotel, wherever that is, right? My brothers and sisters, would you believe between August 2022, according to them, now you can't believe everything they say, but according to them with this, between August 2022 to June 2024, this gentleman, Stuart Young, spent $1.2 million traveling to Venezuela. Now, Venezuela, if you go to Cedras, it's 10 minutes away, and if you go to Piaco, it's 45 minutes away. He goes to Venezuela August 5th, 6th. Now, that is one day, that is a night. When you say 5, 6, a night. He goes with Commander Alden Jasper. That fella is the military attaché in Caracas. What he going to a meeting for? To discuss energy matters? Would you carry the military attaché? But you know what they did here? This is a farce. It is inaccurate. It is not full. It is not a full account. And it is still hiding. It lacks accountability and transparency. Huh? It is skimpy like that bikini and swimsuit that Saddam spoke about in Tobago. I know he's trying to chill up your spine when he mentioned that. And for all the answers, for every trip, they give the same answer. What is the reason for the trip? Here the reason for the trip. They give the same answer for everything. Huh? The minister went to negotiate matters related to the energy sector. He gone to every meeting to do that. And he carried the military attaché. One night cost them $32,000 in August 2022. February 6th, he went for a day. Now he goes with an interpreter and so on. I understand she is a public servant. We don't want to call her name and so on. He goes for one day, February 6th. One day, $40,000 for one day trip to Venezuela. Military attaché. February 22nd, 23rd, 2023. He goes, but there's a night again, 22 to 23. $54,000 for the one night trip. March 13th, 15th, 2023. The same Stuart Young military attaché, $89,000 to spend a day in Venezuela. $89,000. It continues, 48,000, 105,000, 130. No, this one is nice. Listen. November 2nd to 4th. Now, 2nd to 4th of November 2023 is a night. If you spend the night, you spend the dates already 3rd, you spend one day. So you travel on the 2nd, you come back on the 4th. The 3rd. You know what's the cost of that? They carry permanent secretary as well, I think, yes. $137,000 to spend a day in Venezuela. What is this man doing in Venezuela? And in this answer, he cannot name the officials who he met in Venezuela. Tonight I asked Stuart Young to tell us, is it that he is prohibited by the government of Venezuela from naming anyone he meets in Venezuela? Did Maduro tell him that he cannot disclose the names of any Venezuelan officials that he meets in Venezuela? And that is why they cannot tell us who he met. Who you met in Venezuela for all these trips, they cannot and will not say. Because half of the people he meet arrested and the next half sanctioned. So he can't say nobody now because America looking for all of them. They put a bounty on Maduro, I think it's 25 million United States dollars for his arrest and conviction. They might put one on Stuart Young. And this time, Stuart Young, if they put a bounty on you, it's not a penny. It won't be a penny. This time it might be a little more. Brothers and sisters, I go on November 29th, 30th, 2023. Now, the fella went November 20th, 2023. You know he gone back on the 29th? So he comes back to Trinidad, change his clothes, and he gone back to Venezuela. Here the cost of that one now. He went 29, 30th, 2023, $40,000. That is where he went. But it have one that really strike me, you know. I don't know why it strike me. December 21 to 22. That's just before Christmas, huh? 21 to 22. That's you travel on the 21 and you come back on the 22. So what, you spend a night, right? Total for the trip, $110,000. But they are carrying NGC officials, but they cannot name the NGC officials either. NGC officials are paid for by the state. They are public officers in that sense, or contract workers. Why we can't know the names of NGC officials who went? But they spent $110,000. You all hear that? That is what Stuart Young doing in 1 month. He went 3 times to Venezuela. And March 12 to 16, 2024. Now before I reach March, February 14 to 15, 2024. Now that's Valentine's night, for some of you that follow that. The guy had a night for Valentine's in Venezuela. February 14th, he come back the 15th. I sure 1 or 2 all years do that too. February 14th to 15th in Venezuela, the taxpayers pay for Valentine's night $62,000. That's a lot of flowers and chocolate and thing, eh? $62,000 for Valentine's night in 2024 in Venezuela. This fella for real? He want to be prime minister? What you want to do now? Carry more people for Valentine's? March 12, 16, 12 to 16 is how much? 4 days, huh? 2024. He gone with a side $240,000 for 4 days in Venezuela. Brothers and sisters, it goes on and on. The cost here is that we know of is 1.2 million. When you add NGC costs to that and other costs that they will hide, you are dealing with about $2.5 million in travel, for which you don't know who he met. He said everything had to do with energy matters. Everything. We don't know what is that. Who is that? Our technical people will ask those questions. I'm sure the dragon himself will open fire when he gets an account of this to understand what he went to do there, what meeting, what issues he raised, brothers and sisters. So that is where we are. We have the answer. And I want to alert Stuart Young. You could run, but you can't hide. A freedom of information, Saddam. A freedom of information may go to the Ministry of Energy for full details on all this trip that cost almost $2 million between NGC and Ministry of Energy. So that is the point we raised tonight, brothers and sisters. Brothers and sisters, I will not delay you much longer. I think it's getting late as well. But to tell you that on the highway, I just want to remind some of you, I know some of you may have come down the highway. We got some pictures from the highway, and our brothers and sisters there were appalled. They were appalled, brothers and sisters there, that, would you believe, the highway, I think one of the fellas who is a candidate for somewhere, said that extension would be completed by Christmas. What Christmas he meant? Christmas when? This year, last year? They went and dig up the road. Do you know they paved a part of that extension and went and dig it up again because they had wrong engineering designs, flawed designs, and the material they used when they test the composition of that material for road was not suitable. And them fellas just be talking about EMBDC and fixing road and thing, you know. They paranoid on EMBDC. Spend $100 million to dig up the road to see if the road good or bad. Rowley and Stuart Young like that, you know. If they see a building standing, they will shake it to find out why it's standing. And if they're looking for $10, they will light up a $100 bill to search for the $10. That's how they just operate, you know. That is the people, and it is Stuart Young, it is Rowley, it is Dial Singh, it is Alwari, It is all of them. All must go. All PNM MPs must go. Brothers and sisters, they must go. So I want to ask you in closing, brothers and sisters, that we have reached a signal, pivotal moment in our history. We have the plan. We have the program. Mrs. Prasad Bisesa has spoken for I don't know how much years. She has held symposia. She has spoken on policy to deal with crime, to deal with health, to deal with education, to deal with infrastructure, to deal with science and development and every other sector. She has the plans. She is now putting together a team of competent men and women, second to none, to manage the affairs of Trinidad and Tobago. Brothers and sisters, Mrs. Kamla Prasad Bisesa managed this country with a degree of decorum. You all ever find out one day in 5 years when she was Prime Minister, if she ever cussed anybody, publicly buff up anybody, ever berate anyone, that she ever conducted herself without class, without decorum, without protocol? She ever conducted herself like Young and what he named Rowley and these kind of people? Never, never. She brought a certain measure of maturity, responsibility, decorum to the office of Prime Minister. Look what they are doing now. Who want to be Prime Minister? Throw up your hand in the air. That's what they are doing now. But the time has come, brothers and sisters. Remember the suffering. Remember the hardships. Remember your children could not get jobs. They are going to take away your pension. And let me tell you something. That was not a mistake. God forbid if Stuart Young comes in there, they will take away the pension of the elderly people. They will take it away. They will increase water rate. They will increase tea and tech rates. Brothers and sisters, we cannot allow that to happen. Brothers and sisters, we cannot allow that to happen. The time is upon us. 10 years is too long. I pray for all of you. We have withheld our, we have held ourselves together. We have managed the worst times. The weeks are coming down. They are drawing to an end. The time is coming. Give us a drumbeat. The time is coming for the general election in Trinidad and Tobago. And the time is coming for citizens to stand up and remove Keith Rowley, remove Stuart Young, remove all of them from power. And I remind you in closing that a vote for any third party is a vote for the People's National Movement, brothers and sisters. Stuart Young is deceptive. He cannot be trusted. He will not commit himself to the rule of law. He will not commit himself to accountability and transparency. Brothers and sisters, remember the tragedies that he presided over. 10 years is much too much. And I call upon you tonight, stay firm, stand strong with the political leader, with the United National Congress, with all our allies, wherever they may be, and vote resoundingly for the United National Congress. God bless our great party. God bless our leader. God bless you, the great people of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you. I love you all.
Do you know that in 2016, 66 liters of diesel cost $100? Today, under the PNM, you get 20 liters of diesel for $100. The diesel you paid $100 for under the UNC now costs $327 under the PNM, which directly affects the cost of food, transport, and services. Guess who I'm voting for next time?